Yes, my people, I don't come again to update our mindset. As the hot so, another coup don't take place again. Another coup don't take place for Gabon as they talk so. Shebi ECOWAS leaders they run katakata because of say military takeover for Niger abi. Right now, another one it don't happen for Gabon, and this Gabon now they're not there among ECOWAS country. How ECOWAS leaders how they want to run now? How they want to interfere for this issue now? And the president, which is Ali Bongo for Gabon, he don't dey there for 14 years. Now he be president for 14 years. Not only that, his father was the father of this guy, this president now also the president, the ex-president. When the man don't go old, he can't retire, give am to his son. His son can't take over. For 14 years, he don't be president for Gabon. So the military, they don't plan coup 2019. The thing, it no work out. They can't hold on. So now, when Niger don't do their own successfully, they can't get the mind with full support with other countries. They can't take over. Now, they seize the Ali Bongo now. When I see this video, when this man they talk so, this is Ali Bongo himself. When they cry out to people, make them help. Say now, military, they don't seize them. Make them help. Now, if this man so one they watch so. So right now, I don't want to talk too much. I want to bring up the main video. May una hear them and watch. And I take God name beg you. As they watch this video, make sure you go like, comment and share. So people will never see them, they go watch and see what they go on for Gabon. Thank you.
The coup in Gabon. It appears a wave of coups might be sweeping through Africa as senior military officers in Gabon, another African country, have appeared on national television declaring they have seized power. Amidst loud-sounding gunfires being heard in the country's capital, Libreville, the officers announced that they are dissolving all the state institutions of the republic and shutting all borders until further notice. They also said they were annulling the results of Saturday's election in which President Ali Bongo was declared the winner, claiming the recent general election lacks credibility. His overthrow would end his family's 53-year hold on power in Gabon. And recall that there was an attempt of the same coup in 2019, a year after he had a stroke and was asked to step aside. But he refused, and though the coup failed, the persons, the military officers involved were sent to prison. But this time around, it seems the military have been able to take him out of power. Recall that Gabon has been ruled by he and his father for over half a century.
Absolutely.
And it is said that he and his family have benefited from the resources of the country and that they haven't done much to improve the lives of the 2 million persons in that country.
You know, it's quite interesting, you know, waking up this morning to hearing about the coup again in Africa, on African soil. Dynastic politics is quite unpopular in Africa, especially in areas where you have the sit-tight syndrome. Is something that we really do not want to have the military incursion into, you know, government taking over power as a result of, you know, saying they want to restore peace and order. They want to ensure that the country is put on the right. You know, you just imagine, you understand.
To democracy, so, and I mean,
a quite small country on the, you know, on the coast of, you know, Central Africa, you know, very close to, you know, other countries like, you know, Guinea, close to Cameroon and all of that. So we do not imagine that will be something we'll be waking up to together. I mean, to hear again today. President Ali Bongo, 14 years in power. You already said it. In 2016, the election was disputed. In 2019, it was ousted by the military. I think they installed the NLC, Restoration Council. It failed, and then they were arrested, and all of that. So it's a very much delicate thing that, you know, they said that the soldiers said that we have decided to defend peace by putting an end to the current regime. And the delicate thing for the coup piece is that it's very, very worse for them because we don't know what might happen at the end of the day if they try to restore constitutional order. Because what happened in 2019 then was condemned by international communities like South Africa, like Egypt, even the AU also the query is why are we having coup again in Gabon? So the French, because it's a French colony, they speak French. I'm not sure what they are going to react like because they also condemned it in 2019. So the dominance, the oil dominance, the world is moving away from oil. So it might be, the French might be a bit, wary in terms of responding because we've seen the anti-coupist sentiments, anti-French sentiments in Niger, and looking at what France is trying to do, using Algeria airspace to strike Niger. So it's like they are being hit from, left, right, and center. So if they still have that hold, that grasp of, of Gabon as a country, I'm not sure how they are going to, because this is now becoming very too much for them to bear. But it's we are looking forward to seeing what the international community will see, especially with what ECOWAS is facing. They're not part of ECOWAS, but their country is contiguous to countries that are part of ECOWAS. So how this is going to pan out is another thing that it remains to be seen.
Right. Talking about the fact, the election, you would recall that the outside president now had 64.27% of the votes. Yes, it was contested by the opposition, Albert Undu, and the military, who have now taken over power, said that it wasn't credible at all, and that is why they were stepping in. I feel that they were looking for an opportunity. They have been looking for an opportunity, and they waited to see what happened with the result of the election for them to strike. And then what is going on in Niger might also be an opportunity for them to say, it is time now for us to take our chances, because they have said that they have accused France of also taking advantage of their resources and not contributing as much to the country.
That's right.
And so all of it is about, all of these coups that we are seeing is about a fight, a revolt against French rule, French dominance across their colonies. They are beginning to revolt, to say we want to take over power, we want to manage our resources the way we want, because right now the military has shut their borders. Immediately they shut their borders. They didn't wait for anybody to speak to them. And, they are beginning to move with a certain speed that is coming as something that is already planned. From my own perspective, it's not something that they had happened all of a sudden. They had done their homework. How do we address these issues? Because the election was just Saturday. They must have thought out, like, okay, created scenarios. If the election goes this way, we'll have to step in, and these are the things we will want to do. Perhaps they might have been taking a leaf from what is going on in Niger to say that we wouldn't wait for sanctions, we wouldn't wait for anybody to step in to say this is how
and
we
they also monitor what is going on.
Want to shut our borders, cut everyone off, and do things our own way.
But still, it's better we speak to African leaders. We saw what happened to Robert Mugabe, someone who was, very revered, among Africans, and see what happened, see how it ended. His government ended in Zimbabwe. So the fact that this is happening in Gabon, we know Burkina Faso, Niger, Mali, experiencing coup, we really do not want to continually see this. And we should also talk to ourselves. How do we make developments, we make gains, like a year and 10 years backward, we just, we slip backward again. Military incursion is not good, but we also need to talk to ourselves and how do we move away from the fact that, for instance, 7 years is the term, is single term in Gabon. Isn't that too long? 7 years for a single term. So now it makes 14 years. That's way too long. So we need to review all of these things. What France is going to be doing afterwards, because personally, I think I have my own sentiment against neo-colonialism. We should be able to look inward and develop ourselves. What this military coup would do, they shouldn't come back and be telling us, okay, they should give them 3-year window for them to be able for them to be able to restore constitutional order. They should state their plan, because it's not coup is not popular in any day and time. So it's best we need to know exactly what's going to happen at the end of the day, because it's a developing story and we have to keep watching how the international
Of course, we'll
communities
keep
will be
tabs
reacting
on
and what will happen
development, but
afterwards.
the wave of coups across African countries, like you were saying earlier, should be a wake-up call to not just African leaders, but Africans as well.
Africans as well.
What kind of leadership do we want? Because democracy, we say, is government of the people, for the people, and by the people.
Absolutely.
And so if the people decided to choose this person, does it mean that they did not have an option?
Well, so what is the election process? How did it go? If it's disputed, it's largely disputed. The election that produced, the result that produced President Ali Bongo is largely disputed. But I feel what they ought to have done, was to go through the process. Go to the courts,
should have, and they would have.
Challenge it at the tribunal, and whatever the court says. But recently there have been much talked about how the incumbent, tends to
wield power
over the judiciary.
Every institution.
Over the judiciary and the legislature, right? Even though they also have bicameral legislature, it's a presidential system. So if that is being disputed, I feel it's just a way to, sit down, think about, do a lot of introspection and see how we can chart a better course forward in order to make Africa a better continent. So all of the African leaders, under the AU, they should have this conversation. What can we do differently? What can we do to tell the outside world that we are able to govern ourselves? And we are not going to,
Have they shown that character and capacity that they are able to manage their resources and that they are able to handle ourselves? Are we extending our hands of friendship and brotherhood to one another, saying, let us work together to harness our resources to build the continent? Recall that during COVID-19, there were conversations around, let's have homegrown solutions. We shouldn't be waiting for vaccines from Europe and all of that. Let us begin to look at homegrown solutions. Why are African countries, we have quality doctors. We have the quality of persons who have capacity, which, how European countries come over to take these persons to Europe to do the job for them. Why are we not harnessing our resources, using our human resources to achieve what we want? These are the issues we need to begin to look into, tap into right now to develop Africa. Let's leave this conversation here.